Welcome back, Rockhoppers. I'm Stately. I'm the lead dev of Rockhoppers, and today I am here to talk to you about integrating these prefabs that we've been making into the game's mission system. I'm going to show you how to designate your prefab as a mission objective and how to add the different types of blocks that are required for the various mission types that the game has to offer. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull up the mission markers here. So pull up the creative menu with C and mission. And the mission markers are these little exclamation mark type things. Alright, as you can see, we have a bunch of different options here. We have AIM mission markers, Snekoid mission markers, etc. We're going to stick with the AIM mission markers. Now, these names simply correspond to the type of mission in the mission description, so that when you're creating a story arc, you can say, I want this to be an AIM mission, and you can then designate a specific location as an AIM mission location. Now, you can have more than one mission marker, so locations can be multiple types. There is also the auto mission marker, and the auto mission marker does not require the player to interact with it in order to start a mission. Just flying up to it is enough. These exist specifically for space-based missions, where the player remains in his ship during the entire mission, and it wouldn't make sense to have him get out and click on the exclamation mark. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab the AIM mission marker. We're going to slap it down here. Now, what this does is this, well, like I said, it designates the location as a mission location, but it also serves as the starting point for the mission. And it's both from the perspective of the map. So when you receive a mission, the map will point to this mission marker. And from the perspective of the on-screen little bug that follows you around. One thing to bear in mind is that the mission marker is visible in the real world, and the player has to go up to it and interact with it to start a mission. So it's good form not to place it in such a place as the player will get attacked on his way to the mission marker. Another thing to bear in mind is it should be outside of the mission location so that it's actually visible when the player flies up to it. Because of the way Rockhopper generates terrain around buildings, it's entirely possible for an underground location to have a mission marker in it, and a player will be sitting in front of a rock face going, what's going on here? And we want to avoid that. So, what that means is that because we have a spawner over here, we probably don't want to put this mission marker here. We probably want to put it like on the roof, because then we'll be safe from the mobs. It's easily visible, and the player will have a little bit of time to collect his thoughts before he or she goes inside. When you start a mission by interacting with the mission marker, a couple things happen. First of all, the location is restored to its original condition. So if the location had previously been damaged during another mission or even meteor strikes, it'll be fully restored. All containers are refilled, and all spawners are reset. So any spawner that's on a delay because its mob had recently been killed will immediately spawn a new mob. That's, you got to go in there and fight the guys. You can't have them just not spawn. So that's the mission marker. And for a lot of missions, for a lot of mission types, this might be all you need. A clear mission, for example, simply requires that you go to a location and kill every mob at the location. So you don't need to put anything inside of the location other than the mob spawners that you probably already have. There are, of course, several other mission types, and those do require you to place objects throughout the location so that the players can interact with them. We'll talk about the actual mission types in the story arc tutorial, which is coming up after this, but I'm going to go over a few of them that are particularly relevant to mission-based content, like the fetch quests. A regular fetch quest simply requires the player to go out and get, 20 ice or whatever. They can get them anywhere. They're not bound to a location. But the special fetch quests are fetch quests where a player is tasked with going to a specific location and finding a specific thing. And in order for that to work, we need to place these fetch quest objects in places where the thing might be hidden. Don't let the icon here put you off. This is a group of all of the different fetch quest objects, and the first one just happens to be a satellite. But if we grab something a little more regular, we have a wall safe here. That's an obvious thing for a fetch quest to target. We have a control panel here, a box. Oldie but goodie. We have some documents. We have a Z-specific computation node here, and then we have the time data key, which is for a different type of mission. We'll talk about those at some point in the future as well. So now, if I have my mission marker and the story arc calls for a fetch quest location, an AIM fetch quest location, it could select this. And what happens is when I start my mission, only the one of these that the game decides actually contains my fetch item becomes visible, and only to me. So one time it might be here, the next time it might be up here. That gives me a reason to search around, and it's interesting, if potentially frustrating gameplay. And by frustrating gameplay, I mean don't hide this stuff too good, because players will be sad if you do, and they'll be mad at you, and it'll just be a mess, and nobody will be happy. Okay, so that was the special fetch quests. The next thing that we have these special items for is the destroy quests. And the destroy quests, again, we just type in mission here and we'll get the destroy mission items. And again, I know it looks like a boiler. It's not just boilers. It's all of the things that can be given as destroy quest targets. And the way this works, and pretty straightforward, you get a mission. The mission says, come destroy this thing. The game finds a location that has the thing that needs to be destroyed, gives that as the mission target. Player goes in here and destroys all instances of that one specific thing that he is tasked with destroying, and then has completed the mission. The mission targets are just a bunch of kind of random things, and one thing that's important to note here is that the destroyed targets are always visible. They don't only show up when they're part of the mission, like the special fetch targets. Okay, and our final mission type that is relevant to locations, to your prefabs, is the restore mission. And this one requires a player to go to a mission location such as this and repair any damage. So it'll obviously only select a damaged location, but we've talked about this briefly before. When we have a location that has both friendly and hostile mobs. Oh, that's a Snekoid. That's the one guy we don't need. Like this. That location can be either infested or inhabited, and that's determined at the time the world is generated. If the location is tagged as infested, all of the inhabited spawners are disabled. The location is damaged. The lights are dimmed. This is all automatic, so you don't have to build this in yourself. You just have to designate that the location can be infested. And then that location becomes eligible as a restore target. So what the player does is he comes here with a bunch of repair blocks. He doesn't have to fix everything exactly right. He just has to place these blocks where the holes are highlighted. For the purposes of designing a location, though, all you really need to know is that if a location has both human friendlies and humanoid hostile spawners, it can be a restore location. Okay, and that concludes our episode on integrating your mission objects into your prefab so it can become part of the story arc system, which will be in our next episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.